What is a 90-day plan and why is this essential for your interview prep? So many of my clients this week have been progressing to interviews, so I wanted to take the time and focus in on that because I get the sense in the market at the minute that quite a lot of that activity is going that direction. So let's help you get this over the line and make sure that you are the one that gets picked amongst the sea of people that are getting interviewed. So one of the things I want to focus in on is the 90-day plan and why this is important. 90 days is the first introduction point of getting into a company. And you might be asked in an interview directly, what will your first 90 days look like? You might be asked what your strengths are, what your development areas are. Planning for this 90-day plan will be the thing that helps you answer those questions effectively so that they leave in a way where they choose you for the role, okay? So let's start first of all with the first 30 days and how you handle this one is the most crucial. A lot of people feel like if you go in and explain exactly what you need to do, that is the selling point, that's the key thing, but you're actually wrong. And the thing that you should focus on, believe it or not, is your development areas. So think about the things that are the gap that your hiring manager will be thinking of when you're going through the recruitment process. So let's say, for example, you're going for a role in a tech organization, but that company is an education tech, ed tech area, and you've never worked in that space. You're going to be interviewed likely against someone who does have that experience. So you in your first 30 days should be talking about the fact that you've got experience in the energy sector, experience in consulting, but given that this is your first exposure to education tech, you're going to focus in on what the key differences are about ed tech and understand exactly how you can learn more about that. By owning that up front, it can make a big difference. And if you stick around to the end, I'll tell you why, because when I explain all the 90 days, the context will make sense. So the next is the 30 to 60 day window. And this one is kind of the same for every opportunity you go for. Focus on getting to know the people, getting to know the processes, getting to know exactly how they work inside and out. So meeting the right stakeholders, liaising with your bosses to understand what their ask is of you in more detail, now that you've got familiar with what your knowledge gaps are in the first 0 to 30 days. So once you've got all of that down, you'll be able to understand exactly what your development areas are and how you're going to move past them, and equally how the teams work and what they do better. The next phase then is the 60 to 90 days, and this is where this all connects together and makes sense. So you've told them about the thing that you're going to focus on. You've told them that you're going to get to know the processes. Now's your time to tell them what you're really great at. And then it has to be the thing that they want most in the role. So for example, in this ed tech role that I was explaining a moment ago, if they're looking for people who've got development experience in Azure DevOps, and if they're looking for people who can handle a vast amount of clients and projects at the same time, this is where you remind them that you can and have done that. So once I focus on my ed tech gap, then I learn the processes and ways of working. Then I'm going to come in and use my Azure DevOps experience, and I'm going to come in and use my ability to manage multiple projects to transform how you do things. Because now I've got a good understanding of the industry, I've got to know your processes, and I'm a subject matter expert in these things. So this is how I'm going to make the biggest impact in your company within 90 days. The reason why it's important to go this way, because some of you might be thinking, why would I want to highlight the gaps that I've got going into an interview? The reality is, if they're interviewing someone who's got that background, and they've maybe generically got all of the skills that they're looking for, they're going to see you as the person that don't have that ed tech experience, that don't have the capability. It's going to take us a long time to get them ready. We'll go with the safer option who's got a generic side of that experience. But if you tell them exactly what you're going to do to change that and let them know that you're aware of your gap and how you're going to change it, they'll not jump to the conclusion that you don't know and can't acknowledge that gap. And at the end of it, if you remind them what you're really strong at and how you're going to change that, they'll go, right, well, I really need that skill, and he's willing to learn that. So let's take a chance and put the offer in for the person that has acknowledged that gap versus the person who hasn't. I've seen this work time and time again with clients who seem to come second place with a lot of interviews, but never quite get over the line. And this is what takes them over the line. So have a think about it. Take your opportunity to write your 0 to 30, your 30 to 60, and your 60 to 90 day plans so that you've got a good structure of what that looks like. And remember, you've got to tweak it for every single opportunity that you're going for, because those gaps and those strengths are going to be different every single time. So when you're getting into an interview, look at that job description, get a good sense of your own experience, and think, what is the hiring manager going to be challenging me on? And that is what's going to help you stand out. So if you find that useful, make sure to like, make sure to comment if you've got any questions, and obviously subscribe and watch more of these videos so you can get to grips with a lot more of the tips no matter where you are in your journey. I'm Tony McBride, career transition coach, and I help mid to senior professionals transition from one role to the next. Good luck with your job searches this week, and if you're at that interview stage, I hope this is your moment.